All right, we have a quorum, so I'm going to call us to order at 5:22. Roll call, let's see here, I have an email that has everybody in it, but, all right, so roll call, I'm just going to go with who's here. Commissioner Stokes? Here. Commissioner Hanson?
Here.
Commissioner Thrun is here. Commissioner Tyson?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson?
Here.
And Commissioner Schwartz. And we are missing Commissioner Lash, Commissioner Buchner, and City Council Member Schoen. Okay, so let's see here. We need to do approval of our May 13th meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve? All right, a second? All right, any discussion, edits anybody sees? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are good. Open public comment period, it doesn't look like we have anybody here for open public comment. Because we have staff, okay. I'm gonna move right along then to, we don't have a public hearing either, do we, Billy? No. Okay. All right, business agenda items. First thing on the list is the Flexible Housing Fund. The rubric that we worked on, for those that are newer to Hawk, this was like a year process of working on this. That was approved at a couple city council meetings ago. Billy, do you want to give a quick update then on that, and then what we're looking at for the education and all that?
Yeah, so they approved the matrix. People had reached out to me prior to that, and that's why we have the allocation on there. We have 785,000 currently. And someone had mentioned, well, when they were doing the rubric, they thought the money from the year before, just that 500 and some would go to that, but not the rest. So you guys can talk about how you want to allocate, how much to that. We don't necessarily have to decide the rest of the money tonight. And then the 2027 CIP, 750,000 was approved. So start thinking about next year. For the education sessions, I've sent a few emails to haven't heard back. You just gotta hit her at the right time. So she said October, or that's what I had originally discussed with her, and so I sent a message to see if she had some dates. She hasn't responded, so if you guys want to set a date, I'll
But that wasn't that for all of the other stuff? Weren't we gonna do education just on the, we're on
sorry.
flexible housing fund. You think you're jumping ahead?
Yeah,
Because we had a plan on our strategic
Yeah.
plan and calendar for the year that we were gonna do, an education before kind of in conjunction with releasing the RFP, we were gonna do educational sessions to help people understand all the pieces that go into this.
Yep, I apologize, I was ahead of myself. So we just need to set dates on those, how you guys want to do them, and then I can find rooms either over at the library or even here at City Hall or virtual, but you guys can decide all of that.
Since we have some newer people on council that probably aren't as familiar with this, can you back up a step and just give a kind of a brief overview of the fund and kind of the big picture process on this? Because I know we have some new people that have joined in since we've approved everything.
Yeah, so Hawk typically for the last, I think, 5 years has gotten an allocation in the CIP of funding to help with affordable housing projects. It helped fund 2 LIHTC projects, the Eddy and Prairie Heights, and then it helped fund much needed repairs at properties the Hmong Association owned. So those are the 3 projects we've supported with the fund so far. We have 785 right now, so 550 was what you guys had when you started the matrix with Aaron. I don't know if there's anything else you want me.
So yeah, so that pot of money, basically, there's an RFP process. We have
Yeah.
to put out a request for proposals. People have to submit and go through the matrix and submit, what their projects are that that they're asking for funds for. That's what we worked on for a long time to work through that. It looks very different than the last time around. So the last set of matrix, this is kind of a whole new refresh to give more opportunities for remodel projects or smaller developers too. So there's some different things with it, or nonprofit organizations, et cetera. So but then from there, so what is the timeline? Do we have we had some targeted dates, I think. I think part of what we need to do is look at our targeted dates as to when we want to be actually reviewing proposals and kind of backtrack from there what makes sense. Because once they submit proposals, then they come and they present to Hawk, right? Because
not necessarily.
Okay.
So when they submit the proposals, they'll score themselves. Staff will go through and validate the scores, check them, and then staff will bring the presentations to you guys, listed out which one, the scores, and with a little explanation on each one for you guys to decide. I mean, we will send you the packets. We'll
Okay.
include them in the packet, but
I just remember last time they all presented, so at the
yeah,
last one. But then we make a recommendation to council, and then council's the one that approves it. So we don't actually get to approve the disbursement, we're the ones that we're supposed to analyze it, look at it, and then we make the recommendation to council, and then council can either follow our recommendation or do something different. It's up to them, so.
So last year, can I talk?
Mhm.
Last year, I remember the timeline. We were getting the rubric done in August, was going to council, it was going out, we were doing education in September, it was going to the public, we were gonna disperse funds in October. So we're like in the exact same spot we were last year at this time. The difference is we have a rubric now. But what I was gonna say is the exact thing you said, like, we have to determine when we want the money dispersed and then backdate our project plan. But last year, that was the timing that we were going to use.
And from the time we actually have proposals in, how long till we go through the approval process? Like,
We'll bring them to the next Hawk meeting, so it'll depend on when the RFP actually gets released, and when it's due, and then, unless it's the day before, it's due the day before the Hawk meeting. I don't know if I can go through all that, and, we couldn't have it noticed, but, so it should be the Hawk meeting right after the due date.
so realistically, we're probably not really, I mean, because we're gonna need to put the RFP out and do education sessions and give people some time to put together projects and do the marketing for it and all of that. So realistically, we're probably not talking about dispersing money then until 27, correct?
Probably, I think we could still hit the December timeline. It just depends on how the holiday falls, because council won't have their second meeting. So it just kind of depends on what we get through so that we can get the RFP out, because when it comes out, then we'll set that due date.
Okay.
It would be nice if we could get that RFP going, like, because I think you could have the RFP out and the education sessions happening concurrently.
I agree.
And it would be nice if we could have that back in by November 1st, so that it could then make sure it gets to council and is available. I don't disagree, like, it probably won't be, the money won't be available to 2027, but it would be nice, because now it's 2 years of funding, if it could be ready to go by the end of the second year. The other thing is, because there's 785,000 in the next budget for 2027, I would recommend that we give that 550. Maybe I wrote the numbers down wrong. Did I say that right?
785 right now.
Yeah,
I
there's,
would recommend we give out the 785 because there's 750 in next year's budget. Because it's been 2 years of no projects.
Yeah, and we can also make that decision based on what we get for
Yeah,
proposals too,
that's real smart too, yeah.
based
Yeah.
on, you know,
We can
how they
always-
score and,
Yeah, but if we could start that and let folks know, but then if we didn't get enough, pull that back.
yeah.
so how long until we can have the RFP out?
It's pretty much ready to go. It's just deciding dates. I think the education sessions beforehand would make sense, just because they're gonna have so much time to prepare it. And if we have a session during it, then they might not be getting materials prepared. And there's a lot of materials they're gonna have to get ready for the proposals. So if you think they'll still be able to get in and do all that in the timeline, I'm all for it, but
But I agree, I like the November 1st deadline for the RFPs, because then we could, like, if it was released, like, let's say we can get it released next week, and then schedule the educate, because then it's out there, we can say, we can do one big market, say, hey, we have this, here's the information, come learn more about it, we'll explain, we'll go through all of it. It makes sense to kind of do it all at once and do one big marketing push for the whole shebang, with the information so people can look at it, and then we can have the education session.
Could the RFP go out? Sorry, I just keep talking with my green button. Do you want to call on me?
Commissioner Stokes, thank you.
Do you, could we have the educational sessions by the end of September, have that RFP open, during October, and then have the things be due by the 1st, and then give 2 weeks for that to come? I'd have to look at what our exact date is, but that gives about 2 weeks before the Hawk meeting in November, and that would give council from November 15th to December 31st to approve those.
Yeah, last time I think we had it out there for 4 weeks, and we received feedback that wasn't enough time to get the materials together, and I think they're gonna need a lot more materials this time.
That's why I think if we just get everything out now and do the marketing push now and try to get educational sessions scheduled for early September to help them understand, that gives like 6-7 weeks of after they get the information, but they can start working on information before education if they have the materials, I guess.
And I'm just thinking, so I joined while we started doing this, I wasn't around for the last development, but what I remember Cody and Carrie talking about is the last, rubric was like impossible for a lay person to understand. So what was so what is so complicated about this one that folks will have a hard time getting their stuff in a month? I know they have to have collaborative partnerships with service providers, but
Yeah, they have to have site plans. If they're remodeling a building, they have to have, building plans. They pretty much have to come with what
It's a lot
you
of
would
work.
come if you were doing a project, because we decided we didn't want any speculative. We wanted stuff that
Okay,
was ready to
that's
go.
helpful.
So we want them to pretty much have everything ready when they submit the application.
So
So
if-
there's a lot.
could we do September 1st too? Sorry, I have things in my hair that are not bugs, they're things out in the woods, sorry. Could we do the beginning of September to the end of October, like 2 months for that RFP with education sessions at the beginning of September?
Yeah.
Is that reasonable? Like, is the RFP that close that it could go out?
Yeah,
by the
I've
end of
had it
August?
ready for quite a
Well,
while.
and that's the thing, is like, I think it, like,
Just a few updates to it once things are finalized.
I think when we release the information about it, you release the RFPs and you release the information about the educational sessions all at once. I wouldn't separate it. I would have it ready. If it's ready now, we can put it on the website and get it out there while we're talking about the educational sessions.
Yeah, and do a press release all at the same time.
Yeah.
So what do we need, what has to happen before August, the end of August? We need a press release, we need the RFP, we need the timelines, we need the places reserved where we're gonna have the educational sessions? What
Yeah,
else do we
so, well, we've kind of got the timeline. If we have a November 1st deadline, that sets it up, and we should be able, because Hawk can look at it in November. Council usually meets, will meet after us in November.
Yeah, our meeting in November just looks like it would be the 11th.
Yeah, and they'll meet in December, so there should be time whenever we have to get that approved. I think that timeline would work.
So you guys are suggesting the RFP go out September 1st and be due to last day of October, or depending on what day that falls on. Okay.
October 31st is a Saturday.
So 30th probably.
Is that doable, Christina? Like if I was putting a project together?
That's why I'm saying it should go out next week, so you have 10 weeks instead of 8 weeks.
Yeah, it really depends on what your project is. If you're building a house, it's gonna take time to get, engineering reports, site plans,
Yeah.
building plans.
But that's why I was just saying that I think we release we figure out today when we're doing educational sessions, Billy books the rooms or whatever based on what's available, and then and then we just release everything, get everything released out here in August yet, with the deadline of end of October. I think that seems doable to me. Especially if it's all ready to go. I mean, if you still had stuff to get ready, then I would say, well, that's gonna be tough, but.
No, we pretty much used the same one, just, this time it needed more adjustments just because some of the changes. But yeah, I started on that maybe even last year.
Is the opening page going to be on the rubric, the words, or are they gonna be on the RFP?
It's already talks about the stuff that you had in there throughout the RFP that we've always used, so, I figured that would be sufficient.
Okay, because it was real specific wording that we had, so it's different than the previous projects.
Right,
So- okay.
and, yeah, I can put it in there, but,
I just remember the last meeting we were talking about, does it belong on the RFP or does it belong on the matrix, and I don't,
yeah, I think it talks about all that in the RFP already, but I'll double check.
okay.
Okay, so let's talk about educational sessions. So if we're trying to target to have some sort of educational session in the beginning of September, are we thinking of trying to do 1, 2? What are we thinking in terms of, Billy, did you have any thoughts on that?
I think last time we talked about a lunch and learn, and then an after hours, like I wanna say we talked about 2, I could be wrong, but I think that's what we talked about with different times.
I would suggest not evenings for
Okay.
this group of people. I don't know. I just feel like evenings are tough.
Well, it's fine with me, doesn't matter to me.
I was gonna suggest morning.
Great.
Well, but I think some schedules might prefer evening. not necessarily our schedules, but.
I'm thinking of your,
people who would be
if our
coming.
target market though is gonna be like nonprofit organizations, is gonna be builders and developers,
And-
all
but
that.
it's a lot of community members. So like if I'm a human, well,
Hmm.
obviously, if I'm a human and I wanna build if I wanna purchase a property for homeless moms, like I think we left that open on purpose, and we're focusing on smaller projects that don't often get picked up.
But I think that would typically come out of usually a nonprofit organization, right? Like typically those types of projects would come out of something like that.
I don't know, I
Yeah,
think like
and
this.
we don't want a bunch of small projects. That's way too much work for staff.
Well, the project
Depending
might-
on what you mean by small.
Yeah, I meant like 200,000 or 300,000. I don't mean like 10,000.
Yeah.
But I think about, there's I'm not gonna remember the name of it, but there's a community member who just opened a shared housing. It's great. She takes lots of folks with, she could, but she's just it's not a nonprofit. It's just a person that's what they care about and wanted to open a house up like that. But it specifically hits the targeted audience that we were shooting for in this RFP. So I'm thinking things like that.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
So folks that are
Timing?
working during the day, I don't know. But if we had 3 options, 1 evening, 1 morning, 1 lunch?
I see your point where, morning and lunch would be the ideal, but
I'm okay with whatever. I mean, I would prefer morning and lunch, but I always try to think of the people who
But-
can't make it, so.
is there a issue of having 3 sessions at all? Or, we just have to we just have to run it, so that would be the issue of it.
And if nobody signs up to attend, we could cancel it, because we
Yeah.
could require a registration, so we know if people are coming or not.
And we could
I-
say you have to get to 5 people to hold this. We also could record the session and then put that online.
Mm-hmm.
So then it would be open for anybody whenever they wanted to.
Yeah, if I can suggest not more than 2, just knowing what my workload looks like over the next month. Doing 3 of them would be tough for me.
So if that's the case, I would do morning and lunch.
Any other
Everybody?
thoughts? Anybody else want to weigh in?
All right, so morning and lunch, and I'll see where we can. And are we just doing them virtual, or you want them in person?
Good question.
1 in person, 1 virtual?
I don't know.
Both virtual?
Do we anticipate people having to travel for this? Because if they do, then virtual could be nice.
Probably not. I think most our applicants would live around here. Some of the more far away ones, they tend to know the program already.
Okay.
They wouldn't know the specifics of this, but yeah, I think at least 1 virtual. But if you want to do both of them virtual, I'm totally okay with that. Less work.
So maybe 1 virtual, 1 in person. Which one do we want to do, virtual versus in person?
Well, if we're gonna be downtown, I would recommend the morning, because there's no paid parking in the mornings. So,
Oh, that's a good idea.
yeah,
So do that one in person.
that's what I would recommend.
That's a good call. I like to schedule all my meetings in the morning now if I have to come downtown. So, yeah, all right, well, and actually I was thinking that in general anyways, because I feel like a lot of the people tend to to get in person, I feel like sometimes it's easier to do that in the morning and then you go on to the rest of your day too, so. At least our group of people tend to like morning things, so. Okay, so let's talk about timing then. Do we want to do them the same day and just try to knock it out all in one day and it's morning or lunch? Or do you want to split it up in case it's the day that doesn't work for somebody? Split it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to get everything out, if we could get everything out next week and start marketing this, when would we want to do it? The week of September 7th? Week of September 1st? One the week of September 1st, one the week of September 7th?
September 7th is the Labor Day.
Oh, that is Labor Day.
Yep.
It is. I forget, it's so late this year. Because I know it'd be nice to get it done early September. Oh, Billy's pulling up her calendar.
Yeah, I have a lot of commission, board, council meetings on the excess land stuff coming in, coming up, so a lot of work with that. But the week of the 17th would work
Are
pretty
you in
much.
August or September?
August, oh, you want September. Hang on, 7th, let me go to week of the 7th. That's good.
I mean, did you say this in August because that would work better for you, really? Like, is the last week easier? Do you have more steps?
Last week of August, next week might be hard, well, for doing.
You won't have
to
enough time
reserve
to
a
get it
room,
out there
but,
anyway.
Um,
If we got the RFP out, you have time, if it's done and it's ready,
Don't forget to hit your button.
Thanks. If you have the RFP ready to go and it could go out soon with a press release,
Like even this week.
yeah, we could, if it's
Oh,
easier for you to do
it's
the week
not
of the
this
20.
week.
If
Yeah.
it's easier for you to do the week of the 23rd,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. to me.
Tomorrow-
I feel like you need at least 2 weeks from the time the press release goes out to when we'd have a meet, because you need to give people time, notice of like a meeting.
Okay.
Like, I think you need 2 weeks in there.
I was just trying to,
yeah, time we get the notice and all that stuff together, it wouldn't go out this week, with the 410 schedule,
Oh, yeah, 'cause you guys don't, yeah, that Friday.
yeah.
is your week of August 30th, is that easier for you? Or is, I mean, I know that starts, like, the first is on a Tuesday, but what's easiest for you, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, I think if we do that first week in September, and then if I can get the press release out next week, that should work. If
So maybe like one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, or a Wednesday.
And then maybe we put in the press release that the RFP will be released on the 1st.
I guess I don't understand why you wouldn't just have the RFP available from the time the press release goes out. If people have to wait for it to see what it is, they're gonna be less likely to like, you know what I mean? They're gonna wanna see what it's about, and then the education is more explaining
Well,
to them
Yeah, we
what
can
it is.
put it on our website.
Yeah, I guess
but-
I wouldn't hold the RFP. I would just, once the press release goes out, I would have it available, because people are gonna wanna be able to see what it is, more than just like the brief press release. So I think it all needs to go out, and then the education sessions will go through, okay, well, we're gonna talk about all these areas and what you need to have.
Okay,
Cause then technically it's out a little bit longer too, which is
Yep.
good.
And then people can come with questions.
Yes, exactly, cause then they can look at it, if they have information, like, hey, I don't understand this, like, yes, exactly.
all right, send the press release and the RFP out next week, and doing the educational sessions the week of, first weekend in September, right?
Yeah, and really then that's gonna be based on your schedule and your availability for a morning and a lunchtime. And honestly, morning, I would say in-person morning, I mean, you could even do 7:30 morning before people get on with the day.
How long will these last?
Hour?
Yeah, no more than an hour.
And because it's 2 months, like, do we want to put it in the, just, like, I get the press release, but do we want to put it in the city newsletter and maybe like the chamber newsletter, and what are the other places that we want this, that folks are likely to see it?
Yeah, we can send it to all of them. They wouldn't necessarily publish the RFP, but they could put a blurb in it with the
Yeah.
link. Usually, when they see that stuff in the news, they pick it up and put it in their stuff. I don't know if Dave started a newsletter yet. He intends to, but
Or
so
if,
we don't necessarily. But we'll put it on our social
I
media.
was just
We'll
gonna
send
say,
it
if you can
out
get a
to-
graphic too, like, we
you
can
know,
share that then,
yeah.
like, organizations can share stuff off that too, which is helpful.
And we'll send it out to developers, nonprofits that work in housing and stuff like that. We'll send it directly to them.
And there's some people that have expressed interest already too, so we'll just need to make sure that they get that as well, so.
I don't know anybody who's expressed interest.
I think it was when I emailed or texted you were asking, and I sent you a couple names of people that have asked me about it, so. There's a few organizations that are interested in seeing this when it comes out, so, for potential projects, so they've been asking me about it. So we may have a couple coming in. Okay. So we have a plan for that. Billy will set the education sessions based on her schedule for a morning in person and a noon lunch. Do you need anything from the commission on that?
Yeah, I think if, not all of you, but I think if you guys are there at, to represent Hawk, it would be good. So maybe divide and conquer if you're able and as you can.
Okay. Do you have dates then that you can look at your calendar and know will work right now?
I'll send them out tomorrow so we can keep moving along, but I'll send out, take a look and send them out tomorrow.
Sounds good. Okay. What action do we need to do on the RFP allocation?
You need to, I would say go ahead and vote on it because we have it on there and there was discussion it might change, but I would just vote that you're allocating it all so that it's very clear.
So that
to
we're
the public
allocating
and in
the full 785.
That's,
Can we say up to 785 in case, like, there's 3 proposals is that possible? So we don't get stuck?
right. So typically we'll award the highest scoring one. So depending on if they take the whole amount or not, and then look from there. Last year we did it, or last time differently because of the issues with the scoring. Like the proximity questions didn't fit at all with one of the projects, so we couldn't determine a real score for it. So Hawk kind of decided how to fund them both, and then council changed that a little. But normally we would just fund the highest scoring.
I just meant if we didn't get enough projects.
Yeah.
So that, okay.
But I think we have to say that we're allocating the amount of money, because that's what goes on the RFP then as to how much money's available. So I think that we need a motion.
I'll make a motion for it to be 785.
Okay, a motion to allocate 785,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
We have second. All right, any other discussion on that before we vote? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, voted on
This
this.
doesn't limit, like, Jessica's in the audience for the City Housing Authority, like, City Housing Authority could apply. City
Correct.
could apply, like, anybody can.
The city wouldn't apply for it.
No, okay.
We would get just beaten up if we applied
Okay.
for our own money and awarded ourselves our own money.
Okay.
That was never, when you guys kept saying, well, you can apply for, yeah,
Okay.
that was never gonna be an
Okay.
option. I mean, we would just allocate the money to it instead of applying for it.
Okay. All right. Anything else on the flexible housing fund? All right, we're on schedule, moving along. The developer education event, so this was the one that we had talked about doing on the different housing programs that then Billy was talking about and she was having a hard time getting a hold of So, and really, we're kind of on hold then until we hear back from her, correct?
Well, unless you guys want to set a date, and then we just, hey, this is the date. But yeah, I haven't got any dates from her.
Well, I feel like if we're gonna do a big targeted thing right now with the RFP coming out, is there a possibility of adding like 10 minutes on the end of that to talk about other types of funding options for people that are looking for that type of a project, even like where further resources are, instead of doing a whole training, to maybe kind of tag team that a little bit? And like add, like here's a few other programs that you can take advantage of. Like, I just got the sheets today from the Builders Association, the Realtors Association, League of Municipalities on the new bill package that came out. There's some stuff in there, like the WIDA, some of that is some of the WIDA stuff. So like looking at I'm just wondering if we're already pulling in the people that we want to talk to. Maybe there's an opportunity to just like add 10 or 15 minutes onto the end of it to be like, hey, and there's these other programs and here's where you can go find info instead of doing like a big thing.
Yeah, and I can create like a flyer and stuff that we can send out, where they have all the links and everything.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be the way to go since it's hard to get everybody scheduled and we're already doing it. And then maybe if it's still something we want to do, we could look at doing it next year when we're not doing the RFP education at the same time.
I also think it's smart to do it that way because we don't want to be the experts. Like, we don't want anyone to think that we're the WIDA experts. Like, here's this, here's home art, or, I can't think of the name of the program. See, I can't even name the programs, but like, we don't want to be the experts. We just want to let folks
home
understand
and, yeah.
how they could research and stack funding.
Yeah, and I don't know all those either, so.
So I think having a little tab on with the flyer is a great.
Okay. All right, well then that's gonna cross that one off the list, so. Then the next thing was the first time home buyers event. We started talking about that a couple months ago, and as far as what I understand, last meeting, no more was done on that, correct? Okay. So I had put together an outline and I think it was in the packet. Yes, so I had said I would put together just a general outline to give us a starting point. Billy, I think, yeah, it's in the packet. So, to give us just a starting point of like, for discussion as to what we want to add, what we don't want to have, et cetera. This was just a working document. By no means, it maybe have everything, or maybe there's things we don't need, but it was something for us to look at to see if there's things we want to add, remove, edit to this. And I know we were targeting sometime in the fall for this as well, to have some sort of education event, to get people prepped for the spring market season. So let's just maybe walk through this as an overview, and then we can talk about edits or changes we want to make to this. So topics to cover, kind of starting with knowing when you're ready. Like, how do you know you're ready to buy your home? How to save to buy a home, different financial strategies to save money. How much of a down payment do you need? Down payment assistance programs. How to work with landlords to transition into home ownership or handling with leases, the mortgage loan process, how to start shopping for a home, how do you look for listings, why is it important to work with a real estate agent, how offers work, you could talk about the back and forth, contingencies, kind of the basic stuff, closing, what to expect on closing day, and then once you bought a home, how to plan for the unexpected, budgeting, things that you should kind of know before you're going to go into buying a home to plan for, like, hey, you know what, you might buy this house and then all of a sudden your refrigerator goes out a year after you bought the house, things like that. So that was kind of the outline I gave us to start with. There's some resources and stuff too on the bottom for other online courses too we can help direct people to. But I guess thoughts on things that we're missing, things you think should be shifted around, things that we shouldn't talk about.
You might have said this, but also, what about, like, what can you plan for what you're gonna pay for a house? Is that on there? Like, what's the, I meant more like, you live in Eau Claire, you're not gonna likely find a house for $98,000.
Okay, so like the market you're talking about.
Yeah, like what is realistic? Because if you start to look at housing, you're going to quickly figure out it's gonna maybe take you some time to save. So like, what is the housing landscape in Eau Claire right now?
Yes, and that could be maybe part tied in the beginning with knowing when you're ready. It could be kind of added into that, like, that could be kind of like the overview. I'm trying to find where I had this saved. I might have to find my email too, because I can't find it.
Really, can you just move this up a little bit? Like some topics to cover. Oh, I think you're too long. You should scroll through. Thanks. Thanks so much for everybody. Yeah, I could absolutely go in and knowing when you're ready part, like just understanding what's the landscape in Eau Claire.
Here it is.
I agree that it's necessary. 'Cause, I mean, if you're too long, you should scroll through. Thanks. So much for everybody. Yeah. Yeah, I could absolutely go in and knowing when you're ready part, like just understanding what's the landscape in Eau Claire.
Yeah, I could absolutely go in and knowing when you're ready.
You know, we've all done these first-time home buyer events and things. One of the biggest things that we tell people, not only the houses that are available, but how much it's gonna cost to purchase that house. You know, with their current interest rates that are with taxes, insurance, what all that means and what your monthly payment's gonna be for that house. I know it sounds simple, but that's something that people need to know, and they don't know.
That's almost like a write-up at the beginning thing too, walking through, and even like how to use like the Realtor app loan calculator is a pretty good one, but like, you know what I mean, like, that you have to look at those things.
You can have just, you know, examples of properties that are for sale right now, you know, paying full price for that property, how much is it gonna cost you? And just have different ideas from 225 to 500,000. I don't know if people are first-time home buyers at 500,000, but you might be surprised.
I think Cody said that average home buyer is 40 years old and it's $500,000.
The average first-time home buyer is now 40 years old, yeah.
And the average home cost, didn't he say it was 500,000?
The average in our city of Eau Claire is maybe 325,000. So the first-time home buyer is in that 200, I don't know that you can get below 200 really, but 200 to 350,000, I would say would be the norm.
New construction is probably an average of 550, maybe that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's right around, actually, I think it's just under, I think, because of the twin homes, I think it's just under 5, so, in our area.
Well, that would be, maybe that's on the way to, but like, what's a twin home for, like, the twin home versus a duplex, like, people don't know all of those things.
I don't think I still know the difference between twin home and duplex. I never heard twin home until I moved here.
Why don't you turn on your lights and explain it quick?
I do think that would be.
All right, so a twin home typically is you own the building. You don't necessarily always own, it depends on how they're set up. But you own your half of the building. It looks like a duplex, but you own your half of it. There's usually some type of recorded shared agreement how to deal with like roof, siding, that kind of stuff. A condo you own from the drywall in, and the association owns the exterior of the building and the land that it sits on. Single-family home is a single-family home.
And townhouse and duplex.
Well, I mean,
We don't have a lot of townhouses.
we don't really have a lot of townhomes.
That's a big thing in the cities.
No, yeah, that's more of a
Yeah.
bigger city definition.
Myself,
Can I?
there's a whole bunch right there.
So a townhouse is gonna be a group of houses, normally 2 or more, in a
Like a row.
a row of houses, so that's a town home. A twin home is only 2 units, and a duplex is 2 units, but you own both of the units.
And in a twin home, the lot line is down the middle of the house. So that's how you own, and typically the ones around here, you own the land and that house, because that lot line's down the middle. A duplex, the land is one big piece of land, so it's rentals. So a duplex is a rental, a twin home is owned, is the easiest way to think about that because of how the lot lines are. Somebody can own a duplex and live in half of it and rent out the other side of it, but the property is one piece.
Yeah. Yep, one parcel number. A twin home will have 2 parcel numbers, 2 addresses.
I just think explaining that to people in the beginning, like when you say home, here's choices, would be helpful.
Yeah. Commissioner Hanson?
What's the difference between a townhouse and a condo?
It's very similar.
Is there
Yeah.
one?
We don't really have townhomes.
So a town home and a twin home are similar. It's just the amount of units that are in the row in that development. So the difference between a twin home and a condo are that there is generally no association fee or a group of things that are gonna be provided by that association. A twin home, you own it, you are paying for it. But, I mean, there could be some type of not generally speaking, but it is you own all of the property from the roof, shingles to inside of everything. A condo, you own the sheetrock to sheetrock. That is what you own. The outside of the building is association-owned and insured piece of property.
And a townhouse is similar to a twin home, but it's usually more units.
Okay.
So usually like a townhouse has 3, 4 units, something like that, where a twin home is 2. I just did a quick Google because I was like, I've had to look this stuff up before, but you own in a townhouse, you own the interior, the exterior, you own the land you're on technically, even though you're in like you have like that little chunk, so to speak. But then there's usually an association that takes care of all the maintenance, like stuff with it. So like my parents are in a townhouse that's what they own in Minnesota, and their association takes care of the exterior stuff, but they pay for that, but they run the association and stuff, but they still own their roof and stuff, but they all pay money so that they don't have to deal with it, so.
So, are you someone taking notes?
I'm taking notes, yes.
The other thing, I'm not arguing that wire with a real estate agent is a smart idea, but I think if we frame that up as, like when to work with a real estate agent or the advantages to work with a real estate agent, I think that will not come off as we're trying to push folks to work with real estate agents. I think it's a great idea, but I just think we have to frame that up different. Or would be advantageous for us to frame that up different.
I'm saving this somewhere I can find it. Yeah, I think that like just talking about like why, like what the work is, like what the role of a realtor, maybe the role of a realtor is maybe what you're talking about.
I think we can sell that real easy. I
Yeah.
just think like, I would frame that different.
The role of a realtor.
Perhaps even explain buyer agency and what that means.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Buyer agency contract.
Great.
Every buyer should have one.
Along with that, would we want to explain the recent changes about how now buyers might have to pay for their buyer agent's commission, or is that getting too
Technically, that was
detailed?
always the case.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that might be getting, like, explaining that it was different and now it's different than it was might be too complicated, but just
Okay.
explaining how it works now is probably fine.
Okay.
Cause I know what you're talking about.
Need to go that.
Yeah, I think you're getting a little deep. Just remember, they don't know anything about how it used to work, cause they've never bought a house. You typically assume
I just
that.
know a lot of my first-time home buyers, they expect that the sellers are gonna be covering the agent's, their buyer's commission, and they don't realize that those are extra costs that they have to come up with when looking at what they're gonna need for closing costs, potentially.
But yeah, but they can still write it into the
They can.
the purchase, which is what people still do, so.
Do-
Okay.
Is somewhere in there, do we wanna say something about having a home inspection and why that might be important?
Home inspection's probably good, huh? That would be before
Contingencies.
closing. Yeah,
types of offers,
contingencies, et cetera.
contingencies,
I'll
yeah.
just add it to that. I'll do home
Under there.
inspection on that list.
Scroll.
No, I just didn't read it as the right
Oh.
place.
Okay, anything else we're missing?
What about that you have to have insurance?
I think that kind of probably falls onto like, insurance is part of the process, but like,
Do you have to talk about mortgage insurance at all? Is that in? is that-
PMI.
Is that somewhere in here?
That probably should be covered under, when they talk about down payments, because if you don't have because you're typically
Yeah.
gonna have PMI there, so that's probably where it would be talked about, right?
Again, it's all, when you start doing these, I know you're gonna ask a lot of questions, you're doing this, but when you're having a presentation, you start throwing these things out to people in PMI, it's too much for them. And then I think that, when we've done these before, you can go into groups or smaller groups for those people who are really, really interested, and you can go a little deeper into what all these things happen. But there's a window of where their eyes glaze over, that you give them too much information and there's just too much.
Well, and it's very complex and detailed, and if you don't know, if you're like not numbers minded and it can be a lot for people to try to take
I
in.
was just more thinking you have to have more money than you possibly could imagine you have to have.
Well, and I think that's when you talk about the down payment. So like if you don't have 20% down, you're gonna be paying a little bit extra in your payment because you have to cover, the bank charges you a little extra if you don't have 20% down, but there's options for that. I think that's all you really have to tell the people, in like layman's terms. What was that?
I think it's important, I mean, telling them how much, I think people are really kind of surprised at how little they need to come up to buy a house. And, I mean, 3% down, we're talking, you can buy a house with $10,000. I know that might sound, we've been in this business for a while, that doesn't sound like a lot, I know it is a lot of money, but,
I was more thinking, where were you when I was buying a house? Was it?
so, and the importance of PMI and why saving, you can talk a lot about it, but people think they keep trying to save and save and save, and they're not keeping up with the market because they're saving too much money. So, just a thought.
Yeah, I bought my first house when I was in my 20s, and it was, I think I only had 3 or 5% down. It wasn't, granted, houses were a fraction of the price they are now, but, it was, you didn't need as much cash, so.
Did you guys want to add something about, oh, I lost my train of thought. Give me a minute. Oh, credit.
Credit, that would probably be with the financing. So I would, like, how to save, I think, that would be in the mortgage loan process, probably would we be talking about credit score. What else? Anything else we're missing?
We do, Jessica does have the home ownership buyer program, and, it's a great opportunity to bring that up for people too who qualify. I'm not looking to find buyer, push myself on this whole program, but you get to these people who have little money and they don't know that they qualify for such a great event as well. So you might have, that's a great opportunity to bring that program up to people.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think we'd have to compile any of like the buyer support programs too to talk about. Like, I think it's kind of mentioned here, I think in a few different spots, but like, yeah, like types of programs for down payment assistance and all that. I think it's important to share anything that's available for people to use. Good. Anything else? Okay, so we have an outline here. How do we want to move forward now on the presentation portion of this with scheduling it, who's doing it? Honestly, I feel like we have good knowledge base sitting around this table here. Maybe add a banker to the mix. Have a banker come and participate, and we could cover it pretty easily, right? This information.
Should we have a banker and someone from a credit union, just so we spread the wealth?
I'm going to say financial institution. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Okay.
So it's just how they're structured is different. The programs though can vary quite a bit from financial institution to financial institution in terms of like closings and processes and all that. So it's good to shop that and talking about how it's important to shop that too. And so many people now are using those online banks and stuff, which have a role, but it's so hard if you have a question or there's issues or the appraisal doesn't come back right, then it's hard to sometimes, when you fill out a form online, then to pick up the phone to talk to somebody. So I always recommend local financial institutions where you can talk to a person instead of a bot. But yeah, I guess our thoughts then on next steps.
Well, I think the three of us could pretty well run that program. It's what we do. So I think that would be just break it up into finding the day and breaking it up into who takes what, if
That'd be great.
we want to participate.
Thanks for volunteering
I think that's great to have Hawk commissioners be like, hey, this is something we're doing with Hawk commissioners. I think that's great.
If 3 of you are gonna meet, we would need to do a notice on that. 3's the general rule that legal wants us to follow, just to notice it and so the public can attend, being you're talking Hawk business.
That's fine. Then more people might hear about it then.
Yep, just a reminder that, when you guys decide, let me know and I'll get all that out, and I'll come to the meetings too if you want.
Okay.
Well, first we'd find out the day, because I'm sure it might
Let's talk about
change.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Christina, do we want to have a builder there too? Like, is that a,
I don't think you need a builder there for this one.
okay, great.
First-time home buyers are not buying new construction. Just, it's usually out of the price range. Unless they're buying a twin home, that's usually where you could get into that, but a single-family new construction at $450,000 is just not in a, usually not in a first-time home buyer's price range, so. All right, so let's talk about timing and dates. So we've got other stuff we're doing in September. We want a little bit of time to promote this and market it. Time of year that we're thinking this would be good, like we talked about fall, October, November, early November, sometime in October. What do you guys think in terms of timing? When we can get people there? This would need to be probably an evening event.
Probably library, so that might depend too.
What days of the week are they open later, do you remember? Or is it every day?
I think every day, they're just closed on Sunday.
I just wasn't sure if they had different days that they have. I'm just gonna look it up.
I would suggest October or November. December is going to
Yeah.
get into the holidays, and it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest November.
Beginning of November,
Beginning of November? Okay,
we're hunting, Thanksgiving, shopping.
okay.
Wednesdays, the library's open till 8.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they're Monday through Thursday, it's not till 8, so. Is there a night then in there that works? Like if we look at the week of November 1st or the week of November 8th? We have Hawk on Wednesday the 11th.
I'm pretty open.
I think as far as the time goes, sorry, Billy, we want to be right around 5:30 or try to be it as
Yep.
close to that. The later you get, they won't show up.
Yep.
If you want me to also be there, if you do it on the Hawk week, there's potential I could have council Monday and Tuesday, and then Hawk Wednesday. So if you guys schedule something on Thursday, I might not like you for a little bit.
That's okay. Well, I mean, the first week of November might be a better option anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are the ones doing this, you pick the date, and then we'll have Billy see if we can book the library.
Well, not that Tuesday. Tuesday's election day.
Oh, is it?
according to my
Okay, so the
calendar.
4th or the
Yeah.
5th? I should put that on my calendar.
I always love a good Friday 5:30
Yeah.
I will not like you for a while.
I would rather have a Thursday meeting on the second week than a,
Friday, Wednesday the 4th would be great.
Wednesday the 4th, does that
Yeah.
work? for
Thursdays start to get busy too.
Wednesday the 4th, right?
Yep,
Okay.
that works.
So let's do Wednesday the 4th, and if the library's not available, we could probably either use the Home Builders Conference Room or the Realtors Association Conference Room as a backup option. That works. Or that could be a first choice option too, I guess, if we're concerned about parking downtown.
Do we wanna do a live event as well? Have it streamed for people to do live? Cause I know the Realtor Association just has that nice software there.
Yeah, and we can stream too, but yeah, theirs is a little better. We could do that, have live streaming option.
Are people gonna need to register?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have people register so we know there's people coming.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll find out how many people will be here. That's important.
Where is the Realtors building?
An Infinity.
Infinity Beverage.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
We're
the
like
library.
Infinity Beverage.
So do we, Billy, do you have any preferences if we were to hold it not at the library and hold it at one of those locations? Okay.
Will they charge us to be at the Realtors building?
Not after hours.
I can sweet talk Brenda into it,
Right,
because we're gonna ask the realtors to partner on it to market it.
yeah,
Oh.
good.
Otherwise, I think it's over $10.
We're off of Jefferson North Crossing.
I'm always sensitive when I group on the south side, so if you have something on the south side, next north center's irritated, so it's real south side over there. That north crossing might be a more centralized location.
We're pretty northwest too, so.
Nobody cares, I
I
don't know.
don't know. I can find out if it's available. I can actually, well, Brenda's probably not at her computer. I can't text her right now, but we can, if we want to stream it, they would be a better option. They have better, we can do it, but they have better technology for that, so. But the plan was, I know initially, was to ask the realtors, the chamber, and the Home Builders Association to help basically like cross-promote it and be a part of it and type of thing to promote the event, and I have a meeting with all three we're, the group of us are meeting on August 31st, so I can talk to them about that, but I don't see any reason why everybody wouldn't promote it, so. But do we wanna try to live stream it, or at least have the option if the realtors is available?
It doesn't hurt if we can do it. I've never tried it, but I wouldn't see why.
Or even to record it, to make it available. We could record it potentially there too.
Yeah, I might suggest recording it, because if you live stream it, your attendance goes down. So if you want people there in person, I would probably record it and then put it out later.
Okay.
So.
All right. So we have a date, November 4th, Wednesday, 5:30, right? We're doing that. I'm putting it on my calendar right now. Okay. All right. Did one of you guys want to ask if the realtors want to have the space, or do you want me to? Okay, I'll talk to Brenda. So, all right. Yeah, do you have do we draw a name out of a hat?
I think we can, the three of us can
Think you can
pull that
cover it without
agenda
a lender?
together and figure that all out.
Okay. I was just gonna say, that's really hard, because it's like, I had a heck of a time picking a lender for my own personal stuff, let alone we do this. And then if we only do one, versus who do you pick? Okay. If you guys can cover it without needing a lender, then I think we're good. All right. So then,
That was not my point. My point is the committee will find the lender
oh,
or
you guys will
somebody.
find a lender. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds
If
good.
we
We'll let
can,
you guys
we'll
figure it
that
out. We'll let you guys figure that out, or figure out. I don't think we need a title company, because they don't play as big of a role in this. When we do a home building one, we do a title company, but their role's a much bigger role in the construction process, so.
Madison can help answer any questions that might be relevant for that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. So once we get the location and everything locked in, we got a little bit of time, but probably in September we'll want to start promoting it. So we'll probably need to get a press release out and all of that Hawk is hosting this, so. Okay. All right, anything else on this before we move on to the Neighborhood Improvement District? All right,
Just would like to say thanks for putting that together. I think it'll be real helpful.
I'm excited. So once we get all this information together and we get graphics from marketing and all of that, we'll ask everyone to help share it out and promote it. All right, Billy, I think this one is you now. NIDS.
All right.
This was part of that new or the new bill package that just came out. This was one of the things.
Right, so I'm not gonna go deep detail on these, just give you kind of basic overview. So a NID is very similar, it's a neighborhood improvement district, very similar to a business improvement district, except for it also includes residential. So it can have a mix of business and residential, is where a bid would be just businesses. So it is part of the city, kind of like a board, committee, or commission of the city. They would special assess themselves within a boundary that they decide, and then they would determine how the funds get dispersed and what they want to do with it and everything. The only place in Wisconsin that has them is Milwaukee, and they have quite a few of them. But, sorry, that's the next slide. But how they're formed, so one property owner can come and propose it, and then it'll start working on it. But it does have to, a percentage can say no, and it would decline it. So 30 days before it's actually created, there should be a public hearing at Plan Commission about it. And then during those 30 days after, owners of the properties within the NID would have the opportunity that if they're like, we don't want to do this, if 40% of the total evaluation of properties doesn't want to do it, then that would be enough to not allow it to go on. Council ultimately approves them. Council decides the size of the board. It'd be at least 5, and number of residential and business owners. And that is based on the percentage in the NID. So if 10% of it's businesses and 90% is residential, and let's say you have a 10-member board, 9 will be residential owners and 1 will be a business owner. So it should match as closely as possible. And if situations change, let's say more businesses open, then council would come in and, at their next yearly plan, reevaluate that and adjust it as needed. They have to own or occupy property within the NID, so it could be a renter. It could be somebody who's, has a business in a building that somebody else owns. Once all that's done, council will set a date and time to elect a board. And there's 2 separate elections. I thought this was interesting. So they have everybody come. Residents, you go over here. Businesses, you go over here, and you each elect your people to serve. So if there's 2 business members, they decide which 2. If there's 10 residential, they decide which 10. So it's not the whole group deciding. I thought that was kind of odd, but board members serve 1-year terms, but they can re-up them as many times as they want. There's no restriction like there is with most of our committees and commissions. It can be terminated by council. There's specific reasons that council could decide to do that. Chances are council's not going to do it. Or owners with 50% or more valuation in the NID, they could cancel it. So like Water Street, John Mogensen alone could probably in that bid if he wanted to with as much property as he owns over there. So kind of an example that if somebody owns a lot of property, then they could be the determination themselves. Properties that are exempt from paying taxes, like nonprofits and stuff, they wouldn't pay the special assessment either. So Milwaukee's NIDs, here are the ones that are currently active. I won't go through all the different uses, but I will point out most of them have a program that has home repair grants for properties within their NID. And I thought that was good. It'd probably be something like maybe historical Randall Park. They would like to see some outdoor improvements to help improve the value of their neighborhood, or we have other ones that might be interested. We'd have to approach the neighborhoods and see if they're interested and go from there. But it would be a way to help maintain properties, have funding available. And what happens with the special assessment, let's say they decide we want $100,000 this year. Well, finance will figure out what that percentage is, and then it'll be assigned. So somebody might have a $100,000 home and they pay $10 more on their taxes. Somebody might have a $500,000 and they pay $50 more on their taxes. But then all that money's pulled together to do these different programs. One of them is very like natural resources. They do retention ponds. They take care of the wooded areas within their neighborhoods. One of them, where'd it go? There was one that had more water or storm management they take care of. So there's a lot of things, and it's really up to the NID. So we can't go to a neighborhood and say, we want you to start a NID, but you guys are going to use all that money for housing. I think many of them would if they started one, but there's no guarantee that that's what they would use it for if they decided to start.
Are these like the neighborhood associations? Is that what this would be talking about?
No, these neighborhood associations would be just a boundary of people who aren't regulated through the city. This is more regulated and it has that special assessment. But the boundary could be an existing neighborhood association boundary.
Okay, like otherwise how, I'm just reading, like my son lives in Milwaukee, so I understand where Sherman Park is, but it's like it's a place. So if it wasn't a neighborhood association, how would that place, like how would the people come together and that be determined?
So if I wanted to do one in my neighborhood, I would just come and say, hey, I want to start a NID, do the required paperwork. It would go to Plan Commission, and then I'd bring the boundary that I think it should be. Hopefully I've talked to some of the neighbors, and we all kind of agree this is what we want to do, or the majority do. And then council decides from that point. You have to put a plan together so that it identifies what you're going to use the money for. If you do, the NID closes, how it's dispersed after that, which any money left over goes back to the people who paid it in. So, but somebody just comes with a plan and a boundary, and it can start the process.
All right, any other questions?
Is it getting presented to neighborhood associations? Sorry, I'm a little stuck on.
No, we've talked about it here and there with them. Nobody's really jumped on it. I would like to explore it more. I think there's a neighborhood association that would be really good for it with a lot of stuff that they're looking to do. And I think they would probably put a home improvement piece in it, but I think they'd also do park and stuff like that with it. And it's a lower income area, so you're kind of like, oh, we don't want to add more to their taxes, but if it's a very limited amount, and that's for them to decide what they want their budget to be and stuff.
And this can now be used for housing projects too. So that was like the big new thing that came through, so that a developer can actually create a NID when they do a development to help finance roads, sewer, water, stormwater infrastructure costs related to the development. It does then pass on costs then to the, in a different way, but that's something that's coming. That's a new part of the new bill package that just came through, is that in the past it could only be used in these specific type of situations, and now a developer can do that if they own 100% of a platted subdivision. So
Yep, they can open one to start and then get that funding they paid for everything reimbursed that way.
yeah.
I mean, now they just pay it and add it to the cost of the house, but that would be a way to lower the cost of housing and have the cost spread over a little period of time.
Yeah, I have a little fact sheet that literally was released today that says, like, the developer is the sole owner, petitions the city or municipality to do it. The planning commission designates the proposed district and adopts a proposed initial operating plan describing the infrastructure to be funded, per parcel cost allocation, repayment terms, et cetera. Then the planning commission holds a public hearing in the operating plan, they would adopt it. Then the infrastructure is constructed using debt or existing capital financed by the municipality or the developer and paid down by proceeds from the special assessment. And then you sell, disclose, repay, lots are sold to the builders and home buyers. Condition report discloses the existing of a NID special assessment, so buyers take the lot subject to those requirements. The assessment is collected in installments throughout the property tax roll over a maximum number of years that the municipality designates, so.
Yeah, I think we have a developer looking at possibly doing a NID with a new big development that they're doing, so. So we may have one coming regardless, but if we want one that's more focused on housing, we probably want to get more into some of our older neighborhoods and it doesn't have to be a full association. Let's say East Side Hill, half of them are like, oh, we have no interest in this, but the other half are all supported. Well, make that your boundary. Don't do the whole neighborhood, because then they could end it. Once it's ended, you can't restart it for, I believe, a year. It might be longer. So you can decide, and I think that's why I say I hope people are going out talking to their neighbors, so it helps them understand, oh, let's not include Bob over here, but let's come back up this way.
And the city manages collecting all the money and then dispersing it?
Yep.
Sounds like work.
Yep. Yeah, we do with the bids. They've actually hired Decky to manage that for them now, but we still collect the money and disperse it, but they do all the billing stuff now, which is nice.
Any other questions on this?
So under new construction, this would just be a special assessment that you would have to notify potential buyers that this is a special assessment for X amount of years until this NID has been satisfied.
Correct, yeah, it's just, honestly, it's just a different way of passing it on to the homeowner, in my opinion. But it helps the builder finance it where the builder maybe doesn't have the financing up front or something for some of that infrastructure. So I think it's just a way to work around that a little bit, is
could
my
pop-
understanding of it.
But could possibly provide something a little less expensive initially.
Yep.
Yep,
So it might help people who are like, oh, if I didn't have to pay that additional $50,000, I could buy this house. But if they have to pay it over 10 years,
Correct.
they might be able to afford it.
yep. It's a different way of adding it onto the lots. Okay, other questions? All right,
If you guys would want to set up a meeting with the neighborhood association to, possibly discuss it, I would be open to helping with that. And I think our North Side Hill would be a good one to approach first, because there's a lot of things they want to do in their neighborhood. So,
There used to, I went to a meeting where they all the neighborhood associations came together, I think. Is that still happen? When does that happen?
I'll have to look when their next meeting is. They pretty much, they don't have a set schedule. They pretty much, when they have a meeting, at that meeting, they decide when their next one is, so,
It just
I
seems
don't-
like maybe
yeah.
getting on that agenda, rather than having another meeting, might be a smart way to go.
and yeah, I can, ask them to put it on the agenda. I don't think it's, I don't remember if it's in September. It might be October, but I'll check and let you guys know.
okay, all right. Moving into staff updates then.
I don't have any housing projects updates. Kaya's finished her internship, so I don't have any new information right now, but we're getting it all set up, hopefully, not next week, maybe in a few months, to be on our website, our economic development website, where all that data will always be out there for the public. Other than that, I don't, last night, council did approve one property for excess land. The other three, they want us to go to Waterways, Parks, and Urban Forestry to have them take a look at it and make a recommendation. And then we'll go back Plan Commission and then council.
Which one was approved?
The I want to say Vine Street, but that's not what it is. Is it Vine? The little one by the school.
The little one by the school.
Hmm? Over off Claremont, so that would.
Oh,
yeah,
it's the one in my new neighborhood, right? That's the one that got approved? Okay.
No,
No,
not the
that
one
one.
down across from Rod and Gun. That one will
Okay,
go back. So
that
it's the
one's
one
so-
kind of up on the west side.
I don't remember. I know I looked at all of them, but I don't
Yeah.
remember, but,
Yeah.
okay.
And then when it's approved, does that mean they're gonna sell it?
Yeah, we'll solicit for housing projects, so, and the expectation will be, we're gonna discount the land, and so that's gonna discount the price if it's a for sale home. If somebody wants to purchase or, you know, take it and do a rental, then we'll do an agreement of affordability for a period of time.
So they could combine that potentially with money from Hawk? Like, could they access both of those things to put a different kind of package together?
You mean like somebody could come and request from the funds we've got available to do a project? Yeah.
It depends when things are out. They have to have site control to be able to do all the work that they need for the project. So I don't know if, I mean, we would allow site control if somebody's considering
just-
something, but
If that's an opportunity, I think that we should somehow weave that into our education sessions, because that would, I think, this is not my area, but I think that would provide more opportunity for, I mean, like, there's more things to leverage together. But I just said that like I know something I don't
yeah.
actually.
And I don't know how in line they'll be, where an RFP might be going out
Yeah.
as to where one comes available
Well,
for
if the one was
sale. And
approved, we could at least talk about it.
Well, and it has to meet zoning code, because that was one of the things when I went and looked too. So some of the properties cannot be multifamily. They have to be like, there was one that I think has to be single family or twin homes. So like, because of the way it's zoned too. So that's
Sure.
another piece too, where like the zoning overlay still is an impact on that too. So
Sure.
that will designate what can be built on those properties.
Okay, but if you get a discount, it might be worth tipping.
Mhm. So, all right, anything else, Billy?
Other than that, I don't think I have anything until announcements.
Okay. Future agenda items, so I was just looking at our schedule of stuff. We'll have to talk about September. October, we talked about, a discussion on the zoning code impact, which is great timing, because I got a phone call today about that. So, October is 1 year into the zoning code, the new Eau Claire zoning code, and the call I got today is the impact of the tree preservation on a new development. With the first big development going through that's gonna be impacted by tree preservation, they literally can't plant enough trees to meet the requirement. So, and it's lots of money. So that's one that I literally got the email tonight about that, so we can take a look at. But that's one of the pieces. I will tell you that our association is going to be looking at this fall as well, and we'll be doing some analysis of cost impact. I know that, for example, the garage projection restriction, one of the ways that they're meeting it is that you can extend the front porch. So if you're 3 feet off from what that garage projection restriction is, if you extend your front porch by 3 feet, you meet it, but then you just added $5,000 or $8,000 onto the cost of the home, and it doesn't look any different. So stuff like that is some of the things that we should be kind of looking at with regards to the zoning code. So that's scheduled for October. I think we ought to make sure that's on the October agenda.
I just have some clarification, because I would predict that those of us sitting here besides you, would not know much about the impact. Are we gonna survey people, so then we have something to talk about?
I'm thinking
Or-
that for October, we could potentially bring in some, like, right now, he doesn't want to rock the boat because he still needs approvals, but the one who called me today would probably be willing to come and talk about the impact that he's seeing on the development. I think that getting some of that firsthand stuff would be good, and then we can talk about some, and these guys might know some of it too, so, but that might be a good thing.
Yeah, I think if our meeting was next week, he would have came for public comment. Because he asked me when he was talking to me on the phone, when's your next talk meeting? I'm like, oh, about 15 minutes. And he's like, oh, well, I can't make that.
Yeah,
Yeah, or maybe we put a press release out to know that we want folks to come tell us what the impact is, or, I just think we should get information from a variety of people that it's impacting.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd do an open invitation and end up with 500 people wanting to come up.
Okay, but I mean,
Yeah,
Some
but
way we
send
get
it out to
information.
our developers who are being impacted
Mm-hmm.
by it.
is it just developers or is it,
Primarily.
it's
Yeah.
not like I'm a homeowner and I cut my tree down?
Nope,
Okay.
that,
Don't
we
remember
got,
all-
we got that off of there.
Okay, thanks. I remember all the things.
That one, I think they heard loud and clear on, so,
Okay.
because there was a lot of public opinion on that one.
I just, if
so.
we're gonna talk about it, we should know
Mm-hmm.
something about it.
Yeah, it's primarily gonna be new construction. It doesn't even really hit remodels all that much unless they're hitting, like, doing additions and stuff like that. But it's it's, a lot of it's gonna be the tree preservation, the garage, standards. I want to learn more about the building material requirements for multifamily. That's on the list of things to look at, 'cause I'm not sure. Altoona, we're looking at Altoona's too. They're a little stricter, so we need to see kind of the differences there. So there's some of that kind of stuff we're looking at too, so. But yeah, for September, I don't think we can do what we had planned for September, which was to review the Hawk ordinance, right? Weren't we told we can't look at that, or can we look at that?
If you guys tell me what you might wanna do, I can see, we don't wanna just totally rip apart the ordinance and redo it. But some of the stuff like, if we can't fill a position, you know, with, somebody in the city that we can, as long as they work in the city, that might be something worth changing.
So then maybe for September, could you bring the ordinance to the meeting, and then we could take a look at that and see if there's any recommended changes? So we can still plan to do that at the September meeting as kind of our work plan item.
Christina, didn't we have on the work for this year, didn't we have a specific item on the ordinance that we wanted to change?
Yes.
Isn't there wording?
Yes, there is. That's why, but I don't remember what it is, so we'll have to take a look at
It was
it.
the annual meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, the conference thing, yes. So yeah, I think that started that, but yeah, we want to take a look at that, because there's definitely changes, I think, that need to happen, because it hasn't been really looked at and revised since Hawk was created, and things have evolved a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think any of them change really, once because they're very basic, here's your core responsibilities.
But there was one piece, and I just can't remember it, but it was real important, like that was on our work plan. Do we review our work plan regularly?
So that's on, December so we have November and December to work on our 2027 work plan.
But do we have to review our 2026 work plan to see where we're at, like, or do you monitor all that?
We would do that, November says review the 2026 work plan and set priorities for 2027.
I just more meant, like, where are we at in 2026? Is there things we've missed that we said we were gonna do?
We took everything and put it into a calendar
And
that
that's
Billy
all
and I
too? Okay,
have, and
great.
this is what I'm looking at right now to see if we're on track. So, I'm, I'm keeping us on track. There's been a couple things on here we can't quite do, like the whole, like, RFP is way off our calendar and things like that, but that's where the NIDS came in, because that was on the work plan to have an education on for this year. That came out of the work plan, so that's where that came. The housing program education, reviewing the Hawk ordinance is on there, stuff like that, so. Okay, anybody have any other suggestions for future agenda items? In September too, then we'll do probably, maybe, just kind of an update on where things are at then with the, first-time home buyer as well. We give an update on what's booked and all that stuff, so.
And you wanted zoning code impact in
October, so 1 year, we were planned on that for 1 year out, is how that was arranged. And then at the next meeting,
And then what are we doing with it?
what are we doing with
So
the,
we're gonna talk about it.
and then
what-
we can recommend changes to council.
Okay, thanks.
So that's, we were gonna look at it, because then we can identify and recommend changes, and that would go to council from us.
And are we gonna look at not just, maybe the negatives of the zoning, but what are the things that would have been helpful that weren't included?
Oh, for the zoning code?
Yeah.
I think that the plan we talked about is, we have limited opportunities to request changes or request stuff for that. I think it's more of like us discussing, and then if there's items that we want to try to address with council or staff planning, that we're concerned about the impact on affordability. We as Hawk can have a voice,
Okay.
a singular voice, but we'd have to talk about, first we have to discuss if we're seeing an impact that affects our purview, and then if there is, what do we want to do about it? So, but Hawk isn't the only one doing that, because obviously, you know, I'm doing that in my other job, all that, so. Okay. All right, announcements. Anybody have any announcements?
September 10th, and Momentum West Conference will be October 29th. That's all I got.
October 29th, you said?
Yep. And that's the one where they'll have the 3D print concrete demo.
Is September
September 10th is a
Thursday.
That should be September 9th.
Oh.
And sorry, when was the conference, did you say?
October 29th.
Were we gonna combine with some, I know we talked about not.
We talked about it, but I don't think that, yeah. I think it was more, we don't want to do it, we just want to push people to the other ones that are happening.
Okay, can we get that, do we have a flyer or anything for that?
We don't yet. I think they're getting ready to start releasing stuff, so.
Great.
Okay. Any other announcements anybody has? Billy, I'm gonna forward you this email I got today with the data sheets on the, housing, the new set of housing laws that maybe you can send out to the commission as well. I was only in the office a little bit today, so I have not had a chance to look at them in depth. I just went and pulled up the one on the NIDS, but there's some good stuff in there I think probably could be shared out, so. And that was released from the WBA, the Realtors, Wisconsin Realtors Association, the League of Wisconsin Municipalities on just like how those new housing laws like work, basically, so. Anybody have anything else? Sweet, before 7, I love it. Motion to adjourn?
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
When you're saying the new housing laws, isn't the Road to Housing Act, is that what you're talking about?
I don't know if there's a name for it.
That's a national.
Yeah.
Federal, does that impact anything locally that we would need to know about?
It will. We're going through it, or I'm going through it. And a lot of them have different time frames, like has to be within a year, has to be within 5 years. So I'm going through and making a spreadsheet of when, and all of that, so we know what to focus on, what can help
Okay,
us,
but I
and
feel
when
like,
to comment.
okay, good, cause I feel like that is something,
Yep. Yeah,
there's lots of things buried in there,
yeah.
good nuggets to find, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Anything else though?
And then you'll share that with us?
The spreadsheet?
Well, anything that would impact us, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now motion to
So I'm
adjourn?
motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, we are adjourned, 6:51, before 7.
Good job. You guys on track.
I just want to see an adjournment vote with one person going, no. Feel
I
like
don't think
a
anyone's gonna vote no to
majority
adjourn.
rule. Thank you.
Thanks, Billy. Have a good night.
Thank you. See you later.
Yep, and I'd like to know what the added cost, because I know there's an added cost to that is. So that I would like to know, because that would be good info to have. So I can, you said Jeff has that info? I can put that tech.
Probably put it together.
Okay.
He hasn't, we've been too busy with other stuff this year to actually want to get construction in the ground. He's hoping to this fall, but yeah, he probably will want a few things.
Okay.
Started the process, but that probably like that.
Okay, that would be good, because it's on my, yeah, it's on my list for September to start working on like reaching out to people and talking to people, so I can email him too and ask if he has info on that, because I know my